Functions. Various types of mathematical, logical, and formatting functions are available and can be highly useful. ABS returns the absolute value of a given number. Upon selecting this function, a field will appear with a pop-up list, allowing you to choose the numerical column from which the value should be chosen. Concat. This concatenates two columns together, with a separator in the middle. By clicking on the provided fields, you can select the two columns to be concatenated. Additionally, you need to specify the separator by typing it or selecting an additional column. Diff. The diff function calculates the numerical difference between two values. To perform this calculation, you have the flexibility to choose the specific elements that will be subtracted and those from which they will be subtracted. This can be done by either selecting the desired columns in the respective fields or directly typing in the values. Additionally, if you require more subtractors, you have the option to add them by clicking on the Add Field button. This allows you to include additional elements in the calculation, further expanding the flexibility of the diff function. Div. This function divides two numbers. Similar to the previous functions, the numbers are obtained from the columns you select. By clicking on the provided field, a pop-up list will appear, allowing you to choose the desired columns. Exp. This function returns the result of raising a base number to the power of x. As with the previous functions, you need to select the base number and the exponent from the pop-up list by clicking on the respective field. Left returns a substring of text from a larger body of text, starting from the left and including a specified number of characters. To utilize this function, you need to select the target text in the first field, and then specify the number of characters in the second field. This function is the opposite of the right function. Len counts the numbers of characters in a given column or an input text, including spaces, commas, dots, etc. Max returns the maximum value between a given number of columns. You can select the columns by clicking on the provided fields, and if necessary, you can add more columns. Mean returns the mean or average of two or more numerical values from different columns. By selecting the appropriate columns, you can calculate the mean. Additional columns can be included if required. Min returns the minimum value between two or more columns. Similar to the previous functions, you need to select the desired columns, and you can add more columns if necessary. Prod returns the product of multiplying two or more factors. By selecting the factors from the pop-up list that appear upon clicking on each field, you can multiply them together. Additional factors can be introduced as well. Replace. This function replaces specific old text with new text. This function consists of three input fields. The first input field is for the target text. The second input field is for the old text to be replaced. And the third input field is for the new text to be introduced. You can also manually write the text or select columns. Write returns a substring of text from a larger text, starting from the right and including a specified number of characters. This function is the opposite of the left function. Round returns a number rounded up to a specified number of digits. The first box is used to input the number to be rounded up. You can select a column, and the second box determines the number of decimal places. Again, a column can be selected. Sqrt returns the square root of a number. By clicking on the respective column from the provided list, you can select the number you want to use in calculating the square root. Sum returns the sum of two or more numeric values. By clicking on the input field, you can select the values to add together. If necessary, you can also add more values. Sum days to date. Returns the sum of two dates. This function is the same as the sum function, but it only deals with adding days together. Click on the provided input field and choose from only those columns classified as dates. The appropriate format should follow any date format. Trim. Removes leading, trailing, and repeated spaces in text. It eliminates any additional spaces in a text string, ensuring proper formatting. You can input the text to be corrected in the available input field.